Well, here we go with week 2. Before we get started, let me remind you that this week your service learning issue choice is due. So don't forget to be in touch, you project managers, with your project team to work that out and get that information to me as soon as possible. Your presentation isn't for a few weeks, but the issue, hunger, homelessness, sex trafficking, whatever you choose to deal with, I need to know what that is by today, or by this week, I mean. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you take the time to, but I'd encourage you to pay attention to the stated outcomes for each week for this course. You'll find them at the top of your syllabus for each week. You'll also find them on Moodle. Check them out. They give you a sense of what the week is about and where you're going and that sort of thing with that information. So this week's outcomes are, I think, 4, and really focus in on you and your relationships. One concept that will emerge much later in the course is the idea that comes to us out of Africa. The word is Ubuntu, U-B-U-N-T-U, which means I am because we are, and is cognizant and recognizes the fact that every individual is an individual only in community, and that who I am as an individual is the result of who I am in relationship with others. So this course this week invites you to do some really serious thinking about that. So you'll be asked to reflect on the formational value, which can be plus or minus. It can be good formation or bad formation of your family, as well as a significant other in terms of his or her spirituality. As you work on your spirituality of relationship essay, you might think about who the people are in your life who contribute to who you are and how you see yourself in the world, but also those who bear witness to your life. That is, those who continue to affirm you and celebrate you and love to be around you just because of the person you are. Who are those persons? At the same time, who are you that person for? Who is the significant person in your life that you are a significant life affirmer for? You're also invited to think about your neighborhood. That is, right where you live and who lives there with you. Who are those people, and what is their spirituality, and what is the character of my neighborhood, and why do I live where I live, and does it matter to me at all? One thing I said last week was that spirituality is not only about those high, wonderful spiritual moments in our lives, but also about the hard and challenging ones. Some would say that that's where real spirituality emerges, when life gets hard and challenging. In the midst of the challenge and the ordinary. So as you walk through the work for this week, think about your everyday spiritual life, your everyday ordinary life. We tend to associate spirituality with those lofty moving experiences, but spirituality is whole life. Think about questions like these. What's sacred about doing my homework? What's sacred about listening to a professor talk to you on a YouTube video? What's sacred about eating my lunch? What's sacred about reading to my children? What's sacred about doing the work that I do? What do you think about that? What's sacred about playing basketball or football or soccer or baseball, whatever your sport is? Think about these questions. What's sacred about washing the dishes? Think about the conversation from Hume 3:10 about vocation and listening to ourselves, and Parker Palmer's idea of the life that wants to live in me. Think back to that book. Think back also to the assumptions and the expectations of this course that we shared with you at the very beginning. It doesn't assume that anyone has everything all together. However, this course does assume that everyone has something to offer to the world and to other people in the world. Everyone has something that we need. part of listening to oneself and part of living together with others in the ordinary tasks and places and relationships of life in the real world is recognizing our own gifts and abilities and what we can do about that. We cannot do anything and everything we want. We can each do some things amazingly well. And for each of us, some things will always be the wrong fit. Part of listening to the life that wants to live in us is learning to name it and respect our strengths and our limitations. Finally, it's not a requirement, but in the spirit of the class and teaching about discernment, you might want to take a few minutes and experience the YouTube video that you'll find on Moodle for this week entitled The Examine. I really encourage you not just to watch it, but to experience it. Looking forward to the continuing conversation. Blessings on all of you. Talk to you later.